Hi, I'm Evan Lewis of the Evan eCent channel, and if you've been watching some of my recent videos, you'll know that we had the oilers, displacement oilers, stolen from our stationary steam engine at Gold Mine Experience in Thames, New Zealand. And I've been restoring these oilers, but today we're going to be talking about how they actually work. Fortunately, I was very lucky to be able to buy at a reasonable price a pair of oilers dating back to the 1800s from Marlin Uhrich in Strasburg, Colorado, USA. And he called it a Michigan displacement oiler, but we simply call it a displacement oiler in the British system. This kind of oiler was originally patented by John Ramsbottom in 1860 in the UK, but there are some other variations. Let's start by labelling some of the parts, and the most obvious part is the big brass cylinder, which I've called the main oil chamber. And above that, right at the top, is the oil filler cap, which has a big black handle on it. Right at the bottom, there's another large black handle, positioned at an angle of about nearly 45 degrees, and that's the steam line shutoff valve. In the bottom of this, we discovered there's actually a ball valve with a spring behind it to regulate the flow of steam into the system. And on the left side, there is a needle valve, which is a later refinement actually, that regulates how much steam gets up into the upper chamber. Right in the center is the oil overflow tube, or pipe, which goes right down the center of the chamber. At the other end of this tube, it ends just below the level of the bottom of the chamber, and I've called that the oil dripper. Below the dripper are the two sight glasses, or windows, where you can see the oil dripping down into the steam supply. Next we see the water drain valve at the bottom of the chamber, which is used for draining water out of the chamber. Finally, we see this inverted tube in the top left of the chamber. This is an addition which was not found on all models, and it was patented in 1862. We'll talk later about what that does. Now let's see how it works by adding some colour. This yellow represents oil, which has been placed through the filler cap at the top. The oiler is placed in the main steam supply going into the engine, and when the steam supply is turned on, we see it entering the chamber. The oil is relatively cool, and it causes the steam to instantly convert into water, which you see here as a little puddle in the bottom of the chamber. Since oil is less dense than water, it remains floating on top of the water and is displaced upwards so that it overflows down that central overflow pipe. And then it starts to drip out the bottom, and you can see little yellow droplets coming out of the oil dripper, and these can be seen behind the sight glass. The water level rises very gradually, displacing more oil, and the amount of water accumulating is determined by the amount of steam that is allowed to enter through the needle valve. So the operator can adjust the needle valve to regulate the amount of steam coming in, the amount of water that's condensing, and therefore how fast the oil comes through. The steam pressure in the supply line fluctuates as the pistons go backwards and forwards and valves open and close, and this ball valve at the very bottom will maintain a high pressure in the cylinder. This explains how the basic oil displacement oiler works, but there is another addition we have yet to talk about, and that is the Roscoe tube up in the top left of the chamber. The problem was that these oilers were used on locomotives, and when they were coasting downhill, the steam pressure to the engine would be turned off while the engine was still turning over, and this meant it was running without lubrication. To address this issue, Roscoe introduced this patent in 1862. He included the inverted tube, which fills with air initially, but as steam enters, that air gets compressed in a small column at the top. If the steam pressure drops, which is represented by a paler pink in this diagram, that column of air expands and maintains a certain amount of pressure in the cylinder to keep the oil lubrication running through. The limitation was that once that column of air had been used up, there was no more lubrication. So it would not work when they were coasting for very long periods of time. There was another variation on the displacement oiler that was patented by Elijah McCoy in Michigan in 1872. And this probably explains why in America it's often known as a Michigan oiler. Now let's talk about the process required to refill the oil chamber once it ran out. what would happen is it would fill up with water, and we'd start to see water dripping through the sight glass. And if that happens, it's necessary to stop the oiler and refill it. First, we have to stop steam from entering the chamber by closing the large black tap on the right-hand bottom of the oiler. That is closing the steam line valve. Next, we remove the black cap at the top. And then we open the water drain valve at the bottom right and let all the water drain out of the chamber. And when we see any oil come through, we can close that valve and then refill the oil chamber. Replace the back cap at the top, and then we can turn the steam valve back on. And finally adjust the needle valve to give the required number of drops per minute. Let's finish up with a couple of photos. This is our Tangy stationary steam engine at the Gold Mine Experience, showing the original oiler which was stolen, right at the back of the engine beside the ball governor. And this is what it looked like before and after restoration, and it's standing on a brass stand. I'll include some links to other relevant YouTube videos that I've made. Thanks again to Uhrich for providing these two oilers. And don't forget to click subscribe and like if you do like the video. Thanks very much.